Register now.
Hello, my lovely students. A very warm welcome. So, my atoms, I hope all of you are doing absolutely fine. This is Anubha Gaur, Anubha ma'am in front of you. And what are we going to do today? A new chapter. I hope you are super happy and excited because slowly, it's like slow and steady wins the race. We are doing trying to cover almost all your syllabus. So this is study of compounds, a particular topic that's hydrogen chloride, I must say, very important. And we'll talk about the entire chapter called as hydrogen chloride. So be with me till the end and all your problems regarding this topic will be definitely solved. You can download the PDF for the entire notes as well. Study of compounds, hydrogen chloride students. So are you all ready? Give me a quick thumbs up, hit the like button. And if you're new, definitely subscribe to the channel and share it to your friends so that they can also prepare well, because it's good to think good. All right, everyone. So on this note, let's start and let's talk about HCl. It is a very important compound, I must say. So you should know each and every detail which is important, right? So let's not miss a chance and stay till the end so that you'll be able to cover this entire chapter. We know that pretty well. The molecular formula is HCl, hydrogen chloride. What will be the molecular mass? Just add the mass of atoms involved here. Hydrogen 1U, chlorine 35.5. We take the average atomic mass and that's how we get 36.5 as the mass of HCl. Covalent, definitely. How come covalent? Because both are non-metal, non-metal, non-metal share their electron. Because sharing is caring, they belong to same family and make a covalent bond, particularly polar covalent. Co itself means sharing. Hydrogen has one electron. This is called as electron dot structure. Chlorine 7 electron in the last shell. And what did they do? Hydrogen will say to chlorine, please share your one electron with me. I'll be super happy. Chlorine will say the same, that I believe in mutual sharing. Let's share each other's one electron to be stable. Hydrogen will follow its duplet now 2 electron rule. And chlorine will follow its 8 electron rule, that's octet rule, and will be stable. When two electrons, a pair of electron is being shared between the two atoms, you get a single bond, a single covalent bond. So I got a single covalent bond between HCl. That's the structure of the molecule of HCl. Pretty much obvious. Why this is polar covalent? Because chlorine here is being more electronegative, will pull these electrons more towards itself and develop a negative charge, slight negative. And electrons are being pushed from the hydrogen side, so slight positive. And that's how polarity, a charge separation generated between a covalent compound. So this is a polar covalent, okay? When there's a difference in the electronegativity of two atoms, there is possibility to get the covalent compound in the nature that's polar, okay? Electron dot structure is pretty much clear because ma'am have already explained that. Let's talk about how it occurred in the nature in different form, and I must say very next level. And HCl gas occurs in volcanic emission. You have seen some volcanic emissions, I think some videos as well, and those lava that's coming out is carrying your HCl gas as well. So this HCl, I must say, is harmful, students, because that's something that will irritate your eyes and will choke you as well. And apart from that, where else it is present? It's present in your stomach in terms of having it as a gastric juice and helps in digestion. So that's there as a gastric juice also. Now how to prepare it? Very important, students. And this is like a very easy process as well, by direct synthesis. Direct synthesis means we'll take hydrogen, we'll take chlorine, and we'll try to combine them. Oh, that's not that easy. You need sunlight, but that to diffuse sunlight means not a direct sunlight. There can show an explosion. So what will happen? Diffuse sunlight means a very light and smooth kind of a light we are going to provide. Okay, they'll combine with each other and you will get HCl. We can provide temperature also. Try avoiding that into the dark because reaction will not happen. But if we'll take a good catalyst, then definitely it's possible, like carbon black. Why we take that carbon in the form of coke? Because that provided surface for the adsorption of hydrogen. Adsorption is a surface phenomena. It will stick to it and will be easily available for the reaction, and so easy to react gases, because gases are having so much kinetic energy, and they'll not easily react with each other because of so much movement in the atoms. So your carbon is kind of providing its surface for the reaction. Okay, as I said, reaction is explosive in direct sunlight. We won't provide direct sunlight. And dark, it's not possible. But in dark, if we really want to do that, we can take a catalyst like activated carbon. So do remember that. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead now. We know all the precautions as well that we need to use while using direct process. Now, burning jet of hydrogen also in chlorine form HCl. You'll take hydrogen and you'll try to burn it into the environment of chlorine. That's definitely HCl. Somewhat like same, only we'll take hydrogen and chlorine when we are trying to take these two gases and try to ignite the mixture by burning a ribbon of magnesium. Then also definitely HCl will produce, because we have given enough temperature to it. All right, but very much important is its laboratorical process, how to prepare it. We'll understand that as well. There's one more very easy process to see, students, by heating metallic chloride with concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid, you will take, it's more of like a non-volatile acid. You will take your metal chloride, bichloride, because you need Cl and then you need H. H you will get from acid. Because I take only one molecule of NaCl, it will decompose to give H and HSO4, right? More of like a double decomposition, DD reaction, double displacement as well. Na will go with HSO4, NaHSO4. H with Cl, you get your HCl, hydrogen chloride gas. That's what the purpose, to take metal chloride with sulfuric acid. Again, copper sulfate here and 2 molecule of HCl here. You can balance it as well, and you get your HCl gas. See, I'm talking about hydrogen chloride gas. I will never call it hydrochloric acid. That's there in the aqueous form, and we'll talk about the same as well. Now, as I told you, laboratorical process is very much important to understand, and how to do that. Again, we'll take a metal salt, and why we chose NaCl? Because it's pretty cheap, easily available, economical, and we will take our NaCl in this round bottom flask, and by the thistle tube that we are going to use, that must be touched to my NaCl, and we are going to put our sulfuric acid from the same. Yeah, reaction will happen. You will get your NaHSO4 in the very first step and HCl. And again, NaHSO4 I'm having, and then what will happen? Again, the NaCl that I'm having in extra will again react to give you what? Na2. Na2SO4, apart from that, Na2SO4 plus HCl. So in a way, you can say, in nutshell, you can say 2 HCl will produce with the help of taking 2 molecule of NaCl and 1 molecule of H2SO4, 2:1 ratio, right? So whenever the reaction will happen, HCl gas will form, and that will be definitely moist, because in sulfuric acid, this dilute, so there is water. Moist HCl gas will try to pass it from concentrated sulfuric acid. Why so? Because that will act as here as a dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent which will absorb the moisture, absorb the water, and will make the gas dry. So dry HCl gas will go, and we'll take it just an empty jar, because it's having air and HCl is heavier than air, will settle at the bottom of the flask. Air is lighter, so it will come above. All right. Now the question is, why concentrated sulfuric acid as a dehydrating agent? We have some more dehydrating agent as well. So the reason is we can't take my phosphorus pentaoxide in general, and so many others, because they can react with the HCl that is there, and we don't want that. Okay. So how the reaction will happen? Metal salt, that's NaCl, with sulfuric acid. Please keep the temperature around 200 degrees Celsius, otherwise it will decompose. We get HCl, as I told, 2-step process. Then in the next step, we'll get 1 more molecule of HCl. Why do we use NaCl? I told you. Why can't we use concentrated nitric acid for the preparation of HCl, because concentrated HCl is volatile in nature and we don't want a volatile acid, because by providing heat to it, it can, show this property only, that it will be volatile, will convert to vapors. Yeah. And as I told, why we'll not use other dehydrating agent like my phosphorus pentoxide, my calcium oxide, because they will react with HCl. Look at this, PoCl3 and HPO3, and we got here calcium chloride and water. There is reaction that is going to happen and we don't want that. Concentrated sulfuric acid will not react with HCl. Again, two acid, how will they react? And just will absorb the water. And downward delivery, why? Upward displacement of air it will do, because it's heavier than air, 1.28 times heavier than air. So it will settle at the bottom, and we are not going to collect it with water, because it will mix with the water, highly soluble in water. And we don't want to get HCl in aqueous form, but HCl gas we want it. Okay, how do we identify that HCl gas is filled in the jar? Because when the jar is completely filled with HCl, fumes appear above the jar's mouth. There will be fumes over the jar's mouth, and then like it's enough saturated with HCl. And we can check it out as well, because whenever we take a glass rod dipped with ammonia solution, means ammonia with water, that's ammonium hydroxide. I hope you know that, NH3 with H2O, nothing but will give you NH4OH. You got your ammonium hydroxide, you can say ammonical solution. Whenever you take the glass rod and take it near your HCl, what will happen? Reaction will happen. You will get your ammonium chloride with the water, NH4Cl, double decomposition, NaOH, water. Ammonium chloride white fumes, this is a sublimable substance, will give you the white fumes of the same. And you're like, yeah, definitely that had my HCl gas and I detected as well. So our work is complete to understand that. There must be some precaution to use. Number one, the lower end of the thistle tube must be dipped in sulfuric acid, that I already told you. Okay, delivery tube must be dipped in drying agent, that is concentrated sulfuric acid. In the next step, what did we take? If you remember, let me show you the slide. And yeah, it will come here. This is our delivery tube. So this tube, delivery tube, must be dipped with the concentrated sulfuric acid. There must be no gaps over there. So this part is also pretty much clear, everyone. Precaution is very much necessary. What do we say? Precaution is better than cure. So let's have the precaution and let's value it. Okay. So now one more thing, temperature is maintained at early 200 degrees Celsius, nearly 200, because that's important, because after that decomposition will occur. We'll talk about the property of HCl. So it's like a colorless gas, but as I told, very pungent and choking smell it's having. And whenever it reacts with the moisture, it gives you acid, HCl in the form of acid. And then definitely acid are something that's sour in taste. And it is corrosive in nature also. It irritates nose, throat and lungs, because we have moisture. So whenever it goes to nose, throats and lungs, react with moisture and generate acid, and definitely corrosive. All right. Let's move ahead. Density definitely, as I told, heavier than air, 1.28 heavier. Yeah. So its boiling point, no, its melting point is basically minus 83 degrees Celsius and boiling point is minus 113 degrees Celsius. Solubility is highly soluble in water. We discussed that already. It will give acid to you, and it's covalent, so it's soluble in organic solvent. HCl is an organic substance in nature, covalent, so it will be dissolved into covalent kind of a solvent. Organic solvents are covalent in nature, so that is something that's able to dissolve in acetone, even toluene. Yeah. So let's move ahead now. We'll talk about chemical property of HCl, that how it will react with the other substances. Quite important to know. So the very first thing is combustibility, means whether it is going to burn or whether in the presence of it something will burn. So the gas is neither combustible nor a supporter of combustion. So no combustion will occur in the presence of the same. It doesn't burn, rather it extinguishes a burning splint. As I said to you, it won't burn, but it can extinguish the fire. Okay. And now if I talk about what will happen if I overheat it, so if you heat it above 500 degrees Celsius, there's thermal decomposition, means decomposition due to heat. It will give your hydrogen and chlorine gas. So that's possible at a very high temperature. How do they react with metal? Definitely, if any of the metal is more reactive than hydrogen in the reactivity series, that metal can displace hydrogen and will show displacement reaction. And what will be the product? Definitely metal salt and hydrogen gas. So you will get here NaCl with hydrogen gas, here zinc chloride and hydrogen gas, iron chloride and hydrogen gas. And how you will detect this hydrogen gas? You know it pretty well, because hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound. So that's great, you can detect that. Also, how can you detect that? By reacting with ammonia. There's also one more reaction to understand. Whenever HCl gas will react with ammonia gas, they will give you more of like a reaction where a physical state is changing completely. You will get ammonium chloride, white color, solid, that's NH4Cl. If you will heat it, it will sublime as well. So two gases combine here to get a solid, that's ammonium chloride. Now we'll talk about the HCl in form of acid also, hydrochloric acid's property. But before that, I really want to tell you that how Vedantu is such an amazing problem. And if you are facing any of the problems, your problems will definitely be solved at this platform. If your doubts are not getting solved instantly and you are like, struggling for the same. So with the help of all the master teachers and a team of class teachers will always help to solve your doubts instantly. Notes of every session, so that you won't waste your 70-80% times in writing won't waste, I must say, but more of like, you can spare more time in terms of revising. Test in 15 days, assignments after every session with all the difficult and easy moderate type of questions. More practice and concept will be more clear. Competitive exams preparation, you can give some special test here, and if you qualify that, you can prepare side by side in that same model. You can prepare for NTSC, JSTSC, and I must say JEE, NEET, and all the other exams. JSTSC, though 9th class students give that. With the best possibility of your own schedule, you can fit Vedantu schedule in your own schedule. It's like you see how Vedantu schedule can fit into your schedule, because there is so much flexibility, so many different type of classes. Choice of language, I must say Hindi and English. I won't say that French and German and all. So all the problems will be solved, students, with so much of bonuses. You can attend unlimited live sessions. If you're free and you want to complete something, even if you can attend 8 to 10 sessions, no one will stop you. 1 to 2, totally up to you. Micro courses, chapter-based courses, performance report by, having quiz in every session, active participation, and you'll see your result in the leaderboard, personalized attention of every teacher, and so many crash courses, so many I must say revision courses we are just going to start very soon. So this is the best time to have it, because it's about to start. There is a link in the description box. Vedantu 19 channel has pinned it. Go over it. Just select 10th class, select your target ICSE 2021, and then take your subscription from the 3 models that we have, 1, 3 and 6. Which one is best? Every course is best, to be very honest, same only. But the thing is, 1 month is more of like trial period, just to come and check it out how it will work for you. 3 months, I must say, is very much important right now for your proper revision and proper clearance of each and every topic you can do. As I said, there are so many, plenty of fast track courses are about to start. And the best part is you can save from 20 to 31 to 43% if you will apply this code, that's AGEPRO. AG Ma'am's code, English channel, Pro is the subscription. So AG Pro, AGE Pro will help you for the same. Okay, students, in case of any query, you can always connect to me. I'll give you my email ID in the end as well. Yeah, done, you understood how to do that? Now let's attack and understand HCl in form of acid, hydrochloric acid. Students, how that will form, that when HCl gas is going to dissolve in water, you are going to get HCl in form of acid, hydrochloric acid. And definitely it has polar nature, because there is a polarity, there is a charge difference, electronegativity difference. Now look at this, what will happen when you put it in water? Water helps to dissociate these substance into ions. Dissociation will occur. I must say ionization. This was a polar substance. It will ionize with the help of taking a proper solvent. So it will react with the H positive, which is formed very tiny, not stable. H2O will gather it to give hydronium ion responsible for the acidic behavior. So acid will show only acidic property in the presence of water, because then only your hydronium ions are free to show that nature. And then chloride aqueous ion as well. All right. So that's how we call it acid. If we take dry HCl gas, if we take liquefied HCl, that won't show acidic property, because for the acidic property there must be water to dissociate them into ions, so that hydronium ions are there to show that acidic behavior. So they'll be non-acidic. HCl in liquid form as well as in gaseous form. All right. And they'll not conduct electricity, because you know that ions are not free. Yeah. Okay. The gas is soluble in toluene as an organic solvent. If I take my HCl in terms of liquid also, there are plenty of solvents in which it can dissolve, like organic as well as water also. Okay, but in that case it neither turn blue litmus red nor conduct electricity. That means if you take HCl in form of gas, this is the reason, if you take HCl in form of a gas and HCl in aqueous form, there's plenty of difference. HCl gas will not conduct electricity and neither turn red blue litmus to red, because it won't show acidic property, and there are no free ions also, means there is no hydronium ions to show acidic behavior, no free ions, no conduction of electricity also. So covalent, but in aqueous form, free ions, electricity can be conducted, and the aqueous solution is called as hydrochloric acid. You know how to prepare it. We'll saturate it with water by putting water. The best thing is take water and put acid drop by drop, so that the energy that's going to release, as it's an exothermic process, will be totally dissipated into the entire solution, and gradually you're just releasing the energy. Okay, and then when that's saturated, you can get a 36% of HCl by mass, 36 gram in the 100 ml of solution that you're going to observe. That's pretty cool. All right. When I talk about property of HCl, property of hydrochloric acid, you know that colorless acid, pungent choking smell it's having, because it's more of volatile in nature. So that pungent choking smell will come, sour in taste. Ma'am, did you taste it? Very corrosive, but very diluted form. It's there in our stomach also. And sometime I think you can get that. Okay. So sour in taste, definitely corrosive in nature too. And if that will fall into your skin or your cloth, you can get blister on your skin, and your cloth can be torn from that part. Okay, so yeah, that's corrosive. So please handle it with care. In laboratory, do not do anything without any teacher or guide. Yeah, solubility, obviously water soluble in all the proportion. That's how we get our diluted acid. Boiling point 110 degrees Celsius. It's a volatile acid. All right. Yeah, and when I talk about this, that blue to red, definitely, because that's acid and will show acidic property, means turning blue litmus to red. And when I have phenolphthalein, which is a synthetic indicator, phenolphthalein turn my color to pink, magenta when that's a base, but in acid it will be colorless. So look at this. If you put it into acid, the color will be disappeared, no color. So colorless, all right, in phenolphthalein, but blue to red in litmus paper. Yeah, that's pretty clear. Let's talk about its property. How HCl acid will react with metal. Metal with acid, salt and hydrogen, nothing like new. So you will get metal, salt and hydrogen, something we already discussed that, right? Metal, salt and hydrogen. Okay, you can balance the reaction too. These are the reaction which is more and more important. How metal oxide will react with HCl acid, you can write dilute, you can write AQ aqueous as well. So metal oxides we already know, basic in nature. This is acid. Acid base always react to produce salt and water. No denying in the same, right? So magnesium with chlorine, MgCl2, and then you're going to have H2O water, salt and water. Zinc chloride, ZnCl2, and 2H2OH, 2 molecule of HOH, 2 molecule of water. So do remember, metal oxide base with HCl gives salt and water. When we take metal carbonate, metal sulfite, it decomposes salt of weak acid. These are the salts that are formed from weak acid. Okay, so whenever you take acid, my HCl into the same, what will happen? Decomposition. Always remember, carbonate, one of the product is always CO2. Metal salt with acid, more of like salt water along with this, whatever it is, it will give you a gas, probably. So calcium with chlorine, calcium chloride, you get a salt. H2 with one oxygen from here, H2O, and you are left with CO2 gas. And CO2 gas you can detect also will turn your lime water milky. Okay, sodium sulfite with HCl, now again salt water, but one more gas, that will be SO2. NaCl, H2O, and SO2 gas is left. Sulfur dioxide, burning sulfur kind of a smell, not good at all, and more of like as if you're passing through any sewage. Okay, iron sulfide with HCl, iron with chlorine, iron chloride, hydrogen with sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, oh, very bad smell, more of like a rotten egg smell. Okay, then metal sulfide react with HCl, hydrogen sulfide gas will react. There's one more important reaction I want to tell you, will help you as a test for detection and the difference between my metal thiosulfate and metal sulfide. What is it? When you take metal thiosulfate, thio for sulfur, we use it. We have metal thiosulfate with HCl. What are we going to get and how that's different from the previous reaction? One product definitely NaCl, one will be H2O, and then you are left with this. And it's like getting SO2, yeah, and one sulfur is still left here, and you get free sulfur here, and that's having a yellow color. So what you will observe, along with NaCl water and SO2 gas, you are getting free sulfur, yellow color substance powder settles down at the bottom. So I'm writing one more reaction here that I showed you last time. Look at this. I had iron sulfide and put it in HCl. I got my iron chloride along with H2S, right? But here I got H2S, rotten egg smell, here sulfur, precipitation. This reaction can be used as a test to distinguish thiosulfate and sulfide, as I tell, because one will give hydrogen sulfide, but only here I get sulfur precipitate, yellow color sulfur I'm going to get. Something that you should know as a test to differentiate between the two. Now action on metallic nitrite, it's not nitrate. They won't react with my, nitrate salts. Why nitrate salts? Because that's formed from the acid nitric acid. So that is more of volatile. Volatile acid salt reaction is not easy. Metal nitrite can definitely react here. So metal nitrite with HCl, and you will get metal salt again, water again, and this will decompose to more of like acting as an OA, oxidizing agent, because it will reduce itself. Oxidizing agent is the one that will oxidize other and reduce itself. Okay, hydrogen is oxidized to H2O here, but here this will decompose to give NO and NO2, lower member of oxide, yeah, NO and NO2. So you will get metal salt, water, and oxides of nitrogen, NO and NO2. As I said, metal nitrate reaction is not going to happen, but there is one kind of exception here, that's silver nitrate, because whenever silver nitrate react with HCl, what will happen? You get so beautiful precipitate of silver chloride. It's there in front of you also. Silver chloride along with HNO3, more of like a volatile acid. Yeah. So AgCl is something that we will observe in this. Gives thick curdy white precipitate of silver chloride. You can take that as a test also. Metal nitrate not going to react, but silver nitrate reaction is possible. This is something I must say very important and interesting reaction, that this HCl, whenever is taken with nitric acid in a fixed ratio, I took concentrated HCl, concentrated HNO3 in the ratio of 3:1. 3 volume of this, 1 volume of this, they will react. Both are volatile acid. They will react to give NOCl, nitrosyl chloride, water, this reddish brown color solution, along with nascent chlorine. The best part of this mixture, which we call aqua regia, which we also call royal water, the best part about this is that releases nascent chlorine. And why that's so important? Because we know this, that my aqua regia is having a capacity to even dissolve gold, platinum, which are least reactive. So why that's happening? Whenever gold and platinum react with this mixture, that means they are making a complex with these nascent chlorine, newly born chlorine. Nascent means newly born. So you will get a complex of gold, gold chloride, platinum, platinum chloride. This is their valency, and these are the soluble complex, so going to be soluble. Look at this, gives nascent oxygen that react with these noble metals to give their soluble chloride in that solution. And your gold disappeared, your platinum disappeared. Quite sad, but that's absolutely true. Okay. Now this HCl has hydrogen, and you know that loss of hydrogen is nothing but oxidation, gain of oxygen and loss of hydrogen, oxidation. If a substance has oxygen and if it loses it, means that will do oxidation of other and itself will reduce. Loss of oxygen, that's reduction. All right. And if a substance will reduce itself by giving its oxygen to other substance, it acts as OA, oxidizing agent, does oxidation of other substance and reduce itself, lose its oxygen. Okay, here what you will represent, here what you will see, here lead is in more than one type of valency. Okay, Pb3O4. These are oxidizing agent, provide its oxygen to my hydrogen H2O, and it will lose its chlorine. It's like loss of hydrogen here. So what will happen to my HCl? My HCl will be oxidized because these are oxidizing agent which I'm going to use. And what are the product? MnCl2, definitely. H2O and Cl2 is free here. Okay, look at this. Concentrated HCl can be readily oxidized to chlorine, loss of hydrogen from the HCl, and that is simple. Loss of hydrogen is oxidation, and that's possible with the oxidizing agent like manganese dioxide, lead oxide, and even red lead. Okay, here also lead chloride, hydrogen and Cl2, lead chloride, hydrogen and Cl2. It's just the reactions balancing could be changed that we can see in the reaction number 2 and 3. So please follow and look at the balancing part also. All right. So these were very important reaction. Now we'll talk about the general uses of HCl. HCl as an acid, and as we know, a very good chemical reagent to prepare aqua regia. That's nothing but a concentrated mixture of HCl and HNO3. Apart from that, there are so many industrial uses also in the manufacture of chlorine and chlorides. Definitely, when you heat it, chlorine will be free. We can get different metal chlorides also, like ammonium chloride that we can form out of the same. What will happen? We use ammonium chloride in the dry cell. Okay, so that's how we use it. We use it in different type of dyes, drugs, paints, and photographic chemical like AgCl. AgCl is something that in photographic chemicals also we can have that, we can prepare and we can use that. Okay, apart from that, glucose from starch. Starch is nothing but a polymer of glucose. C6H12O6, n time repeats, that's nothing but your starch. From that, you can get your glucose with the help of HCl. All right, there's no one who will ask you that how that will happen. So you should know at least 3 to 4 uses, that will be fine. In industry, to pickle steel. Pickle steel means clean metal surface with acid, because metal will react generally with oxygen and develop a metal oxide layer, pretty basic, metal oxide basic. And with the help of HCl, I can remove that, neutralization, and that will be removed. Okay, so even steel, before being plated with tin or chromium, whenever we do plating, we need a clean surface. So we'll clean it by our HCl. That's pretty important. We should know that. To remove rust from iron sheet, rust is nothing but a kind of iron oxide with some amount of water. Again, this is basic in nature, so HCl can be used to remove that part. Diluted form definitely you will take. Again, before painting, electroplating, galvanization, all the process, first of all, we'll clean the metal surface with the help of HCl, so quite important. Extraction of glue from bones. You know that our animal glue is also very much important in so many things, and that can be separated from the bones with the help of HCl. HCl is going to do something called as charring of your bones, and animal glue can be separated from the same. All right. And then that's something that is used in medicine too. You're like, how come, ma'am? That if a person is having weak digestion, his stomach is not able to release enough gastric juices, HCl and all, that HCl helps in not even digestion, but killing those kind of a bacteria which can cause infection and all. Okay, so HCl is prescribed to the patient with decreased activity of their gastric juices. Why? Because that will help in digestion of all the proteins and will kill the microorganism that is going to enter the alimentary canal along with the food. So it will kill bacteria, microorganisms, and will increase the activity of your gastric juices, which will help in digestion of protein. Apart from that, for purifying bone black, because HCl dissolve our bone dicalcium phosphate present in the bone. We have bones, and this is what is there in our bone, dicalcium phosphate. And for purifying bone black, in our bone we have this bone black, that's something that used to clean sugar also. So to separate that, we take HCl will dissolve dicalcium phosphate, and bone black will be there in the solid form, precipitated out, and we can separate that. Oh God, yeah, but that's true. Yeah, science is so weird at times. HCl gas possesses a characteristic irritating smell also, and you're like, ew, and choking also. That's bad, that's bad. Now it's like how to test HCl and hydrochloric acid. Definitely, as I told you, HCl gas gives thick white fumes with ammonium chloride, right? I told you. So if HCl gas you're going to take with ammonium hydroxide solution, it's like you take a glass rod dipped in ammonical solution, ammonium hydroxide, you get a thick white fumes around your this glass rod. That is telling that there is HCl that you have taken here, HCl gas, okay, because of this fumes that's going to form. This I told you generally don't react with the metal nitrate, but silver nitrate definitely will react with HCl to give thick white curdy silver chloride precipitate. Again a test, and we can confirm it also because these precipitate is insoluble in this nitric acid. Yeah, we can see that. Insoluble and settle down at the bottom, but soluble in ammonium hydroxide, and it will make a complex with ammonium hydroxide. So we can prove it, yeah, that was definitely HCl from which it was formed. And this is something also we know that HCl can be oxidized with the help of taking a particular oxidizing agent. We can take MnO2, manganese dioxide. Why I'm telling you? Because a greenish yellow gas is going to form, and we can observe that. As soon as we're going to take HCl acid and put MnO2 into the same black color, MnO2 is there, and whenever you mix it, you see a gas coming out. You will get metal salt water along with this greenish yellowish color gas. That's a proof that yeah, HCl gas was there that we have taken in very starting. So many tests. There's one more. The gas liberated turned starch iodide paper blue black. How to confirm that the gas is coming is chlorine only, and we did the reaction correct, because when we take the starch iodide paper, students, okay, so what will happen, suppose in how we take iodide in forms of potassium iodide only, chlorine being more reactive than iodine will displace it, right? So iodine has to be free. Free iodine will react with starch. Free iodine will react with starch to give a complex which is this blue black in color, and we get this blue black color. So this is the thing that we can detect this chlorine gas that's being formed only possible because we have taken HCl, and we proved this is the chlorine gas because that turned my starch iodide paper blue black. Very important test. And now students, you know that you guys know this chapter hydrogen chloride pretty well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's super duper clear in your mind. You can revise it, students, and with Vedantu, you can get results from Kone Kone. So top result aega means you can see result from every corner of India. Best result from all the online classes, because 1 out of 3 students who appeared for JEE Mains with Vedantu cleared JEE Advanced with beautiful rank, 548 ranks across India. That means JEE Advanced was such a tough exam, and getting this kind of a result is so great. Look at NEET JEE results. So many students get above 90%. So your picture can definitely be there if you will believe in yourself like they did. They believe in this platform too. So if you have that potential, you have that, courage that, yeah, I can do it. You have that faith and you have the faith on all your master teachers. Let's give it a chance. Vedantu Master Scholarship Test is there, and that gives you a scholarship up to 100%, and overall 100 crore scholarship is there that Vedantu is giving every Sunday 3 p.m. from 25th October to 29th October. From grade 6 to 13 you guys can give this test and you can enroll for the same. And for pro courses, as I told all the importance for the same, just go to the link given by Vedantu 19 channel in the description box, pinned by Vedantu 19 channel. Select your 10th grade, select target ICSE, and just click on subscription from the 3 models 136. Whichever you will choose, every course is good. It's just the monetary benefit. For long-term courses, 20 to 31 to 43% you can save. Plus, do not forget to apply this code. That will give you a discount. AGEPRO. AG ma'am's code is the same. So students, please follow all the things that I've told you. It is very, very important. And I hope you will definitely like this video, because I try to give you all possible insight for the same, and will definitely come with more and more topics and chapters. Do not forget to share it to your friends. And if you're new, subscribe is a must. Okay, you can reach out to me on my email ID. Keep following, keep sharing, and do come and attend all the sessions. This is Anubha ma'am signing it off for today. Happy learning, my students, and please take care.